I'm Ira Joy, and welcome to On Courage, a podcast that explores a fundamental virtue for each one of us, no matter our backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. After a career setback, I wrestled deeply with self-doubt and fear, eventually realizing that in order to rebuild my confidence, I had to start by rediscovering my courage. I've been reading books and listening to experts, but I figured I needed to be surrounding myself with courageous people too. And that's why I'm here with you as you listen today, hopefully on board my mission to learn from creative people who have harnessed the power of courage to find success in their careers and fulfillment in their lives. This is a podcast on courage for all those who, like me, long to grow a little more courageous each and every day. Today's guest is Ferdinand Hoang, a versatile actor with a career spanning over 30 years. He's appeared in some acclaimed feature films such as The Quiet American and Mao's Last Dancer, as well as popular Australian TV series such as Offspring, Utopia, and most recently Mother and Son. It was really great catching up with Ferdinand and learning more about him, not only as an actor, but as a person. From his humble beginnings growing up in war-torn Vietnam to migrating to Melbourne, Australia, where acting found him. Ferdinand shares such great advice and encouragement for anyone pursuing a creative dream. And we learn about his idea of calculated courage and how that has contributed to his longevity in the industry. Without further ado, enjoy this conversation with Ferdinand. Hi, Ferdinand. It's wonderful to see you.
Ira. Yeah, me too. Yeah, long time.
It's been a long time. Thank you for making the time to chat today. I look forward to the ideas that we will explore.
You're welcome, and I'm very happy that you create a podcast like this so then everybody can share ideas and the experience. It's really
Thank you.
nice.
Thank you, Ferdinand. And I might start with asking you to introduce yourself, just to tell the listener a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yes, my name is Ferdinand Hoang. I'm Vietnamese Chinese, and yeah, I've been trying to be an actor for many years, more than 30 years, and yeah, and also I do something else. So basically like that. I've been involved in movies and TV and commercial and a lot of other things during that 30 years.
Which I'm very excited to dive into. I'm sure you've got a lot of interesting stories and insights in working in that industry, and that's a solid career, 30 years. It's amazing. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. I might start by asking you to think back to your childhood. So
Hmm.
let's turn the clock back, maybe 10-year-old Ferdinand. I
Hmm.
want to know if you remember what that young boy was aspiring for his future. Did you have a specific dream or idea for what your life would be back then?
I I don't remember, but um, because I was born, in Vietnam during the war-torn time, and we are always, worry about survival, and so we don't have that luxury to choose what we want to do. But thinking back, I do remember that I am quite creative because I don't have a lot of toys, but I can make up toys from nothing, from a few button from my mom's shirt button, whatever, a few like empty match boxes, and then that will become a tank. And that is the time before now we have a video game, well, the shooting game. But at that time, I just make up my own game, and it become a battlefield, very big battlefield. And then I also write. like to draw something cartoon or something like that, and force my siblings to read it. So I sort of make up a lot of things from thin air. So that may be creative. There's some creative DNA inside. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And were you the youngest child? Where are
No, I'm the
you in
oldest.
the
I'm the
Are you
oldest.
the
That's why I can force
oldest?
my
Right.
sibling, my brother, sister to suffer.
You yes.
Yeah.
You had the authority and everyone had to
Yes.
play the games with you.
Yes.
That's that's actually really sweet when you were describing the things you were making just out of shirt buttons and matchboxes. I could really picture it in my head. I think that's the simple times, where
Yeah. Simple
um,
time. And
and you
yeah.
make do with what you have, which is
Hmm.
beautiful. And so you said you had
Yeah.
that creative sort of DNA early on. Did you ever
Yeah.
aspire to get to be someone in the entertainment industry back then, or were you still very young to know?
Very young to know, and I
Mm.
never thought that in my wildest dream that I will be an actor. Um, I would say that acting finds me, not the other way around. I
Right.
never look for um, any opportunity to act, and
Yes.
yeah, so.
Well, before we get into that, let's fast forward a couple more years. What was it like for 18-year-old Ferdinand? Were you still growing up in China, or had you already migrated?
Yeah, I was in Vietnam, and 18
All
years
right.
is a very scary time at that time. It's
Mm.
the war is going on, and when you reach 18, you have to go to the army and die, and so that was the type of the survival. We have to work. I have to work very hard to make sure that I don't fail my grade. Because if once I
Mm.
fail, I would have to go be a soldier. So at that time, just
Oh,
survival game, and yeah, Hunger
so
Game.
Hunger it's like the Hunger Games
have
with a
to,
good reference.
yeah, to
Yeah.
have to do anything to survive.
So
Yeah,
so so can you tell me a little bit more about that? So how did you had to prove yourself at school,
yeah,
otherwise they would could script you automatically?
yeah. That's right. A bit like Ukraine now, exactly. So
Right.
they need a lot of soldier or cannon
Mm.
fodder. And but of course, the country can't function without other people who do other things, like
Mm.
teachers or people who work in administration, so on and so on. So they will keep a few people keep on studying. So if you
Right.
can study, you stay. But if once you fail, you show that you're not much good. So you have to go be a soldier and go to the front line. Yeah.
Wow. And you being the eldest in your family as well, you'd be the
Mm,
first in line if that happened.
yeah. Mm,
Wow. And so obviously that gave you the motivation to really work hard, study hard at school. And at
yeah.
that time, you said it was about survival. So did you have any, was it in your ability to even have a dream apart from just surviving? Like, did you ever have a career idea at that point?
No, survival is number one. So Uh, I study to survive, not not to make a living. So I will choose whatever course that is the easiest for me. So
Mm.
I make sure I don't fail. So it may be the thing I really dislike, but I study that one because it's easier for me not to fail.
Right. And
So
what course did that end up being?
teacher to be a teacher,
Teaching.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
you
teaching,
needed,
and
because you needed this security.
yeah, security is easier to get into, and so if I want to be a doctor, engineer, it can be hard, and I may fail, and so yes, it's no use if you
Wow.
fail.
That's amazing. And with regards to, growing up and in Vietnam and, being there with your family as well, was there the dream to move to Australia to obviously escape the war somehow? But can you tell me more about how that all transpired?
Yeah, well, we stay with the government, the communist government, for 3 years, and then we try everything. We try to uh, once we tried to be both people, but because my grandma was quite old, so we choose other path. We try to think of any distant relative overseas, even in Africa, anywhere. So we found someone, a distant relative, very kind man, and he sponsored us. So we moved to New Caledonia, and we stayed there for 6 years. And after that, moved to
Right.
Australia and to Melbourne. Yeah,
To Melbourne, right. Okay.
mm.
So how old were you at this point, Ferdinand?
20 something.
20 something. Okay,
Yeah.
so Ferdinand at 20 something years old, now in Melbourne, Australia. What was going through your mind? What plans were you making for your future?
Again, a plan of survival.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, in New Caledonia, we are not considered as refugee because a
Mm,
lot of Vietnamese refugee boat people came over here in Australia. The government helped them a lot, but
mm,
we are not
mhm.
considered refugee. There's no help whatsoever. So we have to try to find a job, try to find everything to yeah yeah. So
Wow.
for,
And
for a number
so
of years, but yeah.
sure. So what kind of jobs did you work in during that time?
Well, in Australia, it's easy because I am already established. But when in
Mm,
New Caledonia, we just family of seven went there,
mhm,
and there's no help whatsoever from the government. So, and the Vietnamese government let us leave the country, but we are only allowed. We have to leave everything behind, and
mm,
each one can only take $100 with us. So family of seven, we have $700 to go to a strange
mm.
country with no help and to survive.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was tough, but luckily, some people try to help us, give us some furniture, that sort of thing. But 700 won't last long, and we have to rent a place.
Mm,
So I start to find a job, but in the first month,
mhm.
um, I would say slave labor, but
Yep.
and I didn't speak French at that time, because it's a French place,
Of
and
course.
yeah,
Yes.
so yes, I just learn on the spot, and
Gosh, I
that's been
think that
then
in
yeah.
itself, just even that first sort of 2 decades of your life, you've already displayed a kind of courage that
Hmm.
a lot of us, growing up in Australia would never have had to learn about. Just
Yeah,
the I
yeah,
suppose the hardship and the risk, involved in, moving,
hmm.
um, escaping your war-torn
Yeah,
country and starting fresh in a new one. So that's just
hmm.
very admirable, Ferdinand, to hear that. And
Yeah. I think a lot of
you,
people everyone has some strength, but
mm,
just if you don't know when unless you are in that situation. Yeah,
mm, yes, that sometimes when it is um, about survival, that's the thing that motivates you to take action. That there's no, you can't think about it. You just have to do because it depends on your life depends on it. So
yeah,
yeah, that's so interesting to hear that story. And you mentioned then, obviously now you're in Australia by now, and it was easier to find work in some way. But you said that acting found you. So I'm
yeah.
curious to learn more about that. So how old were you, and how did this whole world of entertainment come about in your life?
Again, because of all this young time, I was in survival mode, so there's no chance to learn anything like music. I love music, but I have no chance to learn anything. I whistle instead. But yeah, so that's my musical instrument. My yeah whistle.
You're whistling. I
But
love
anyway,
that.
yeah. So how I started is I have a relative, and she studied acting at VCA, and she had a talent agent, and one day the talent agent asked her, they need someone for a TV commercial, and said, "Do you have someone at that age?" So on, so on, that fit that character, and so they asked me, and I say, "No way, I'm not interested. I'm not into acting." And so I refused a few times, rejected a few times, and until later on, the talent agent very persistent, and I feel bad to say, and money is good to cut TV commercial, and say, "I'll give it a go." Um, it was not easy because if you had absolutely no training and go to audition in front of a camera, and I don't know where to put my arm, where to um, do anything, and then my survival instinct kick in and say I had two choices. Either I just don't do the I just don't go to audition. If I go to do the audition, I might as well give it my best. So
Mm,
yeah, so a lot of failure and then success later, and so it start from that, and then later become corporate video, and then short film, TV, and then feature movie, and so on. Yeah.
yes. And what was that first commercial? Do you still remember?
Not really.
You don't remember what you were advertising. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah, advertise quite a few things, but yeah,
so would
uh,
you say
it-
from there you developed a passion for it, or was it more because it was an opportunity that you just wanted to make the most of?
yeah, it's more like opportunities, and
Mm, mm,
um, yeah. So I was asked, and so I just do it, and
yeah.
yeah. So
And how did you end up? How did you grow from commercial work, advertising, into sort of the more, more because you've done drama and comedy and short films, feature films. How did that happen for you?
yeah, I suppose I just at the right time, at the right place. I think there are a few things that help me. One of the thing is I think one of the very important thing is availability, and they ask you to audition. Say sometimes they just ask you, "Can you come tomorrow at 10 o'clock?" And I say
Mm,
yes, and then maybe do that short film. We need you for 1 week, and next month, and then are you available? I say yes. So that I think that is very very important actually, because a lot of
mm,
people they are very talented people, but they're not available because sometimes they have to work. People,
mm.
and so availability is very important to me. I mean,
Yes,
for to getting jobs,
for that career. Yes.
and I think languages. I know of a number of languages, so sometimes you need
Mm,
someone to speak certain language. I can do it, and then
yeah.
resilience, and you
Yes.
fail this time, and then you keep on doing it. Yeah,
Yes, yes. So, there's a few things here because I think, the advice you're giving applies to anyone, and any kind of job, but
yeah,
specifically for people wanting to pursue creative jobs. But you mentioned before that you had no training
hmm.
in acting, so but you had the availability and I guess you did have the courage to accept the opportunities that came your
Hmm.
way. But
Yeah.
once you were sort of in there and working, did you feel like you had the ability, or were you nervous about the fact that you weren't trained? And did you find other ways to develop skills?
Yes. Yes, I have to find other ways to do it. And I think life experience is quite important. So sometimes you can draw from your past experience and so on, and it helps. So I I would say a bit like I have no training, and I think that a lot of actors have even big actors have no training, like Russell Crowe and all that. They never go spend one day at the acting school. So there are two type of actors. One is fully trained, go to a lot of a school, go to NIDA, WAPA, and they're fully trained,
Mm.
and one not trained like myself. So if
Mm.
you talk about martial arts, for example, and the trained one, the one who go to NIDA is the one who go to learn a certain martial art like Fujitsu or karate and all that. They're fully trained. And the people like me is like this street fighter. You just yeah. One day you are lucky you go to a dark place and then you just meet a few gang people, who try to kill you, and then you have to fight.
Mm.
You have to fight a run or fight and for survival. So that's how I'm
Mm.
trained. So and people just give me a script and go to audition in 3 days time. I just look at the script. I just try to think of ways to do it. And
That
yeah.
and that to me again really exemplifies having courage, because what I find is that a lot of young people, and not just those wanting to be actors, but a lot of the ones that, and myself included, that we have the education, we're able to get our degrees or certifications for things, but then we still don't feel confident to apply for jobs even with all of the training. So, how did you navigate that in terms of not having the training, but still having the confidence to go for auditions? Because I'm sure that, apart from the big movie stars and whatnot, but there are a lot of young, talented actors who are trained that still don't have the confidence to go for an audition.
Yes. I think I understand that you're given a chance to go to audition and you try your best and you just go there and it failed. The first time maybe okay, and then you do it again, and after
Mm.
2 3 times, and you say, oh, maybe something's not right, um, and then but I have to say that a lot of time you don't get the part. It's not your fault at all. You may be actually the best person, the one who do the best audition, but there's something outside of you that determine whether you get a part or not. It
Mm.
can be positive thing, but like for example, maybe you are more handsome or more beautiful than the lead actor or lead actress, and
Mm.
and they can't let you outshine the
Mm.
main character.
Mm.
So they say, "Wow, he's so good," but he's he's taller than Tom Cruise, so we can't, we can't let him, stand next to Tom Cruise, and so you don't get the part. So a lot of things that determine whether you get a role or not. So
Mm.
it's and sometimes you don't know, and sometimes even the producer director they don't know either. So they also sometimes they just step in the dark. I remember
Mm.
one very big Hollywood producer. And he just say that sometimes we just don't know. We just pick one that we think is the best.
Mm.
But and he said, in hindsight, he think that maybe if I pick the other one, it can even be better. But they don't know. So
Mm.
it's not always your fault. So don't feel bad that you don't get the audition. Don't
Yes.
feel. There's a lot of other things that determine,
Yes.
and the main thing is just keep on doing it. There's a saying say preparation when the preparation meet the opportunity. So you keep on preparing
Mm.
and.
Mm.
Yeah, and then one day if the opportunity may come, yeah.
Yes, and you raise an interesting point as well about yeah, the fact that there's so many other variables that determine if you get
Mm,
cast, because
mm,
then that means it's not just a case of your lack of training. Because I find that some young people, even in other sort of other careers, is that they're not getting jobs, so they think that they need to do more study and they have to keep
yeah,
studying and studying, whereas it's not, it may not just be that, it may be other
yeah,
factors. Mm.
yeah. It it may not be 100% that. Yeah, and or sometimes training is a double-edged sword. Um, you you learn from other people's opinions. Your teacher teach you to tell you to do this, to do that. You go to acting school, especially the little kids go to drama school, and then I think that sometimes become problematic because they think that they have to move this way or that way, or the eye or the smile certain way, and it becomes not yourself. And it's good, you have that tool, but then sometimes you have to adapt, to change that to something that suit your special look or your special skill or something like that. And
Mm.
yeah, so yeah, that
And
too.
how did you learn to I suppose as you were uh, you kept auditioning and booking more roles and things, did you start to feel the role that you played, you started to grow confidence in your ability as an actor?
Yes, it's a continue learning skill. So the more you do it, um, the better. And after a while, you have a few success, and you start to build a confidence. And when you relax, the main thing is you have to be relaxed and forget about yourself, and you can act better. And but
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, and look, you have a your I suppose your career spans, as you said, 30 years, which is just so amazing as a working actor. And I'm curious because I think in this industry we do focus a lot on the successes. A
Hmm.
lot of the people, especially when you're an actor, people ask, "What have you been in?" And you tell them the movies or the TV shows, and there's that sense of pride that you were able to book those jobs. But I think
Hmm.
what we should also explore is the failure, because I think that's an important part of success.
Yes.
You don't become successful without failing. So I want to know more about your experience with failure, with especially with rejection as an actor, going to audition after audition. How did you manage, or how do you still, I suppose, manage that kind of journey? That process of it. Facing rejection, knowing that you may not book something, but you're going to dedicate time to prepare for that potential role. But how do, on a, I suppose, maybe on a mental and emotional way, how do you manage that?
Um, yes, it's quite hard, especially a lot of times you audition and you think that, wow, this time I nailed it. 99% of it get the part, and nothing happened. It keep on. It's still happening. Like last year, I was asked to audition, and they really want me to, think that I will get a part in for an American TV series,
Mhm.
and have to go to the States for 2 years to do it. And the chance seems to be very big, and the casting agent there seems to be quite confident. But the last minute, nothing happened.
Mm.
Even just a few months ago, there's another one, big one. I have to go to Western Australia to stay there for 2 months. And then even the casting director asked me, "Are you available? Are you available?" Many times. So it's give you a feeling that they
Mm.
really need me. but then last minute they say, something changed in. So I just get used to it, and maybe you just keep on auditions. You get some, and you don't get some. Um,
Mm. And I suppose it's what you said before, that you build resilience through that process,
yeah, yeah,
because you're
resilience.
yeah, and you're prepared that it might not go your way.
That's
And that's
right.
some
Yeah.
yeah, and that comes with experience, because I think what happens when you're young, you're very idealistic, and you just believe that you things will come easily to you. I think especially for the younger generations. I know that being a millennial, we were sort of brought up believing that if we just get a university degree, we can easily find a job. But
Hmm.
that's not true. That's not the reality, that you still will experience knockbacks and failures, that it's just
Yes.
a part of it.
Yes.
So do
Yes.
you have any personal ways to sort of deal with that, with rejection and failure?
Well, maybe I just take it like it's a part of the process. You can't
Mm,
have 100% success, especially audition, and especially like we discussed before. It's sometimes not your fault, and so um, just if you get a success, that will be good. And I did once a movie, and the lead was Kate Blanchett, and then I was surprised. I said, Kate Blanchett is a really huge star, and I was surprised she still um, need to audition. I said, what? People will be begging her to be in the film, and she still need to audition. She had to fly to LA for 1 week to audition for a role and then fly back to continue the film that I was in. I say, why?
mm,
And I said, because they want to know whether she look right for the part. So she may go
mm,
there. So they may have other big actress there too. So to audition for that big role, and then they will see who look right for that role. So it's
mm.
not it's not because Kate Blanchett can't act, but because
Right.
yeah. So that yeah.
That
So
Well, that's really good. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that should give a lot of encouragement to
yeah,
young actors. Because if Kate Blanchett, whom we know is a wonderful actress, one of the best talents of Australia, that or successful actors, that she even still auditions, then it makes sense that that's just a part of the career
yeah.
of being an actor.
So
Wow.
yeah. So
Now, for your own career, were there specific or criterias for projects that you audition for? Do you look for certain things, or um, do you just take every opportunity that comes?
I like to be versatile, and I enjoy. Yes, I know some actors just specialize in a certain thing, action or drama or whatever. I like to do all different one, because I think that really, as a person, any person, you have different emotion. You sometimes you can be funny, sometimes you be sad, sometimes you can be that where show the dark side of you and become very terrible, and it's in everyone, so you can act that. And so I've done quite a number of different ones, even though
Mm.
at that time the director think, oh, Ferdinand, he's a nice guy, and so he can't play that horrible role. But actually, when they give it to me, and I can do it. And but I think I slightly prefer comedy because it's fun, and comedy
Mhm.
you can make up a lot of things. Um, But something like legal thing I don't really like, because legal thing you have to say very specific things, and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it's harder to remember lines.
Yes. I've enjoyed watching you in comedies. I think one of the
Hmm.
first things I saw you in was We Can Be Heroes.
Oh yeah,
Chris Lilly's project.
it's
That
really
was
yes.
hilarious. And I think I caught you in an episode of Utopia as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's so great to, and I think for me as well to have that familiar face, when you know someone as well, it's very exciting. When I'm like, I know
Yeah,
that's Ferdinand.
yeah.
Um, so so what are some of the, on that, what are some of the most enjoyable projects you've been a part of? That the ones that maybe ignited your creativity, like when you were a little boy, making up, playing things and making things. What's one of the projects you've worked on in your career that has brought out that joy for you?
At the moment, I think yeah, it's comedy. Comedy, you can make up a lot of things, and it's not
Mhm.
so strict. I've done stunt as well, and
Oh.
yeah, they asked me to do it. I'm not a stuntman, but yeah. So in one TV series, I was kicked out of a car, and the car is actually moving. I get just
Oh.
kicked out. Yeah, and I have to roll on the street, roll, and then and some other things like a tall ship, and we have big train to climb up a tall ship very very high, and they're really scary. But yeah, so it's yeah, it's,
So when you're asked to do those things, do you ever have the hesitation, or are you just someone that just goes for it?
of course I will see if I can do it. If I
Mm.
can't do it, of course I will say no. I can't do it. Like kick out of a car, moving car, and
Mm.
it's can be dangerous. But at that time, I think that I can do it. Um,
Mm.
yeah. So
How did they
it's
prepare you for that? Did you have some rehearsals, of course?
10 minutes rehearsal.
Oh.
So they just put a mat on the ground and to see whether I can roll on the mat.
Oh
So
my.
I did that and say okay, and do it again a few times. And say, and the stuntman say that seems all right. So yeah, so we just do it, and yeah,
Oh my
but
god. I I think, yeah, it seems like there's a part of you as well, and perhaps that's from the way that you grew up, that you've just got this natural sense of courage when it comes to taking opportunities, which I think is really inspiring, because some people, and I know notice, especially if we, as I said, my generation, we haven't experienced kind of the times during the war, or the hardships of, those times, that even the slightest little challenge can make us scared. So I think we can learn a lot from you, and I suppose people from your generation, that you just, when you're presented with something, just to go for it, just to try at least, because that,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so glad that in some of your description of courage, you say that it's layered. My sort of courage is like calculated courage. It's like
Mm.
you to see whether it's safe or whether it's good to do it, that you can do it or not. Like I imagine, some you walk on a tightrope between two
Mm.
skyscraper, and then it's silly not to have a harness, So if
Mm.
you had a harness, and you still have that skill, and you have a harness just in case something happen.
Yeah.
But if it's just pure courage, just do it, just walk with no harness, no nothing. To me, that is quite dangerous. So for careers, the same thing, especially in creative sort of career, is quite hard, and
Mm.
I think it's good to have some sort of protection, like I would say you need a real job, and So there are two choices. Suppose for anyone who want to be in the creative sort of career, if you're very young and your passion, your dream is to do that, and maybe give it a go, give it for a few years, and give it go, see how it goes. And if it you find out that it doesn't suit you, and just do something else, because one door shut and maybe another door opens. Or there's another way, is the calculated courage. It's like find a job, find a real job, and which is flexible, and you so that you can, like myself, is the longevity because of that. So if nothing happened, and I still have my job, and
Yeah.
then another opportunity, keep on going, and then yeah, and just don't feel bad, and just keep on doing it. So
Mm.
there's two ways. Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's very that's the very smart way, as you said, that calculated courage, I think, is a really good point that you make, because sometimes we feel that, in order to have success, you need to really take a huge, huge risk and not have a backup plan. I think sometimes
Mm,
that's how we are told, that if you want to make it in Hollywood, you've got to leave your life behind and then chase that. And it
yeah.
might work
Yeah.
out for some people, but I agree
Yeah.
with you that there are other ways. There are other ways, and I think the longevity of your career is an example of that. So you've managed to make it work. So how did you when did you first kind of come up with that balance in terms of having another job on the side, and having finding something flexible as well? Like how challenging was that to do?
Mm. Yeah, it's from the start. I already have a job, something, and
Mm,
but like now, I have another a job which is very flexible, so I can be anywhere, and I can take time
mm.
off. Can be a day off, it can be a few months off, and then after it's finished, I go back to that. Um,
And how did
so
you cut? What kind of fields allow that? I'm sure that there'd be people listening thinking, "How do I find a job
yeah.
that gives me flexibility to pursue acting?"
Yeah, this quite hard. It's quite hard,
Mm,
because I, at one stage think, oh, maybe get some part time job, but it doesn't work because part time job, the boss still need you. Say a certain day, and you can say, oh, can I, go to audition tomorrow,
mm.
or next month I'm not available, and the boss won't be happy, and my current job is basically. Based on commission. Um, so I work as business broker or business agent. It's like selling real estate, but instead of selling real estate, I sell businesses.
Amazing.
So it's basically commission. There's no wage.
Mm,
So that's why it's very flexible. There's no pressure, and
mm,
a lot of time I work online, like on the phone or send email and all that. So
mm.
sometimes I'm in interstate, but my client think that I'm still in Melbourne. And yeah, sometimes in Western Australia, and there is a times difference. And so they call me at 9 o'clock Melbourne time, but there can be 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. And but yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well, I think
that's
that's really yeah, interesting to hear, because it shows you that it is possible
yeah.
if you explore the opportunities, and especially now with technology and
Mm,
access to the internet and our
yeah,
devices and things. It's
yeah.
very possible to be able to set your life up like that, where you can have a
Mm,
creative career and another
yeah.
job that provides you the income.
Yeah, or the other way, you find a rich partner, a rich wife, a rich husband, and then that person has a good job, and you just work part time, whatever, and he or she think that you have a good big future, support you, and you just just try. And I actually have friend like that, and a friend and his wife actually work hard, and he just try acting and do things in creative field, and yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
another
well, it
way,
again,
a good
yes,
job
there's
or a good partner. Yeah,
good job. That's right, and it just shows you the possibilities are endless, and it just takes you being open to them and being available to them. I think that's another point you
yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
earlier, just having
yeah.
availability. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah.
Mm. Um, do you have any specific other practical ideas or strategies that you can share with aspiring actors that will help them, build a career that's, and I think sometimes there's a lot of inspiration out there that's, they say follow your dreams or
Yeah,
follow your heart. But I think, it's important to also give
yeah,
practical ideas. So is there any advice that you can give that has helped you in your career?
yeah. I think it's good that we discuss about this, and it's good to follow your dream. Um, so what I say all this is just my personal opinion and in general only, because there are a lot of exceptions. There are a lot of exceptions. There are Kate Blanchett, there are Margot Robbie's, there are Russell Crowe. They're exception. But I say entertain. I mean, acting or some creative sort of career is a dirty industry. What I mean is that 1% of the people up there, they are filthy rich, and all the rest of us is dirt poor. So it's really dirty.
Mm,
And so I think if you really, the thing is, you know what all the facts, and if you still like it, want to follow
mm,
it, just follow it.
yes.
Follow your dream. Otherwise, everyone do the same thing. The world will be a very very boring place.
Hmm.
Um, that prepare do prepare if you want to be an actor. Besides going to acting school and all that, um, you have to be creative yourself. Think of different way besides what you learn, the theory you learn,
Mm,
and then prepare, go to a lot of familiar yourself. It be go to do extra work, whatever. So you just familiar with the environment, and
yes. Mm,
yeah, and do small role theater or a small big part. Doesn't matter. Some people don't want to do that. They say, well, I'm a big actor. I don't do small things. But the
mm,
more you do, the more familiar you are with that,
mm.
and you prepare yourself, and you see more things. And a lot of times they're very enjoyable. Like being an extra. Um, say go to the show Neighbors to do extra work. So it's, this nothing, this terrible. But imagine like in the United Kingdom, Neighbors very big there, and a lot of people they have to um, do a lot of things to enter into the raffle ticket to get um,
Mm,
a chance to win, um, to go to the neighbors
mm.
to from all the way from United Kingdom, fly here, go on set. The neighbors have a look, and so you work as an extra at neighbors, and you get fed, you get have fun, and but also get the experience to learn, and
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
good. Yeah,
so
familiarize yourself with the industry
familiar
and
yourself and do whatever
and
small
do
small or big.
yes. Yes, and then
Um,
that it proves if you really are passionate. Because if you love the whole process, regardless of, whether you make that 1% up the top, if you still love
yeah,
it, it's still
yeah,
rewarding.
you still love. Yeah, so you make it to the 1%. You become feel rich. That's good. But otherwise, the other one, it's quite enjoyable actually if you
Mm.
is not become stressful. You quite enjoyable. Just enjoy the journey. Maybe the journey sometimes more enjoyable than the destination. And
Yes.
just just walk and look at the flower and smell the flower. And yeah,
I like that. And I think that sometimes that message gets lost when we're looking at careers like acting or like Hollywood
yeah,
or big industries, because a lot of us feel that if we don't make that 1%, then we've failed. But that's not true.
mm,
You know,
mm,
you can still have all of the benefits and the rewards of a long career, even not if you're not in that 1%.
yeah, that's right. And
Yeah. And
yeah,
I actually wanted to ask you too, because I know that we spoke earlier about you moving from having a talent agent to being freelance. And
mm,
I wanted to kind of understand how you came to that decision, because I think being on your own, being independent as a freelancer, especially as a creative or being an entrepreneur, that takes courage as well. So when did you decide to kind of let go of your agent and start representing yourself?
yes, I was with the agent for a long time, and later on, my agent she retires. That's why I become freelancer.
Mm,
Um, but I think for new actor, you need an agent definitely because people don't know you. You need yeah. So, but because at that time I become a freelancer, I already sort of established, and most of the casting directors they know me, and so they just call me direct. So and so yeah, so it's quite peculiar. It's not in general. You definitely need an agent.
right.
Otherwise,
Mm,
you don't have the chance because the casting director they don't know you. They're not going to call you. Um,
mm. So,
so yeah,
but you've been
so
able to build your credibility then in the industry, if casting
yeah,
directors are
for
calling you directly.
yeah, because they know me because
Mm.
and also I'm in showcast. It's a
Oh.
yeah, it's a actor site. So
Mm-hmm.
some people may go there to have a to look at
Mm.
actors that they want. But yeah, so I would say that I'm just in a niche sort of like group of actors because
Mm-hmm.
there are not many actors available at my age, at my
Mm.
um, who can speak a certain language and so on and so on. So
Mm, mm.
sometimes they can only have two people to choose from for that special role,
Yeah.
and I'm one of the two. So
But that's
yeah.
kind of
So
that's
but
kind of
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's interesting though, because if you can find your unique point of difference, if you
yeah.
can find the
So
niche that you fit, you
yeah,
can sort of present yourself that way. Yeah.
yeah. So so I think that if anyone want to get into this, have to find your special niche, and maybe it's martial art. A lot of actor, young actor, Asian actor get the role because they're very good at martial arts,
Mm,
and they just cast them because of that martial arts, or
mm,
you are exceptional in music or something else or
mm,
anything. Then not many
mm,
people have. Just um, let the cast your agent know, and
mm.
whatever it is, because sometimes people want someone with that special skill, and
Yes.
that will help you to get a part. Yeah.
And I think that goes back to what you said in the beginning, that your life experience counts for a lot as well. If
Mm,
you've, as you said, grown up learning a specific skill, whether it's music or yeah, martial arts, as you said, or languages, that can really help you in your career too, because you've got that additional skill set.
that's right. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's fantastic.
Um,
Based on everything you've learned in your life and in your acting career, how do you define courage? Like, what does courage personally look like for you?
Yes, it's like we discussed before. Courage come in different shapes. Um, to me, it's not a blind courage. It may work sometimes for someone, but it's difficult. It's quite dangerous, and what I like is the calculated courage and pair with resilience and preparation and a sense of what to expect, and so you just don't just jump into something that you just dream of and without knowing all the facts, and it can cause desperation because you don't know that it will be like that. And so as long as you know all the facts, that's okay,
Mm,
to follow your dream if you know what to expect. And
mm.
it's good to have a exit plan, and yeah, and just enjoy the journey. And yeah.
Yes. And I think you kind of already answered this in your what you just said then, but I like to think of courage as kind of like the main course. You know, your
Mm,
main course of the one of the traits that you need really to find success or to achieve success. But what
yeah.
else? What else? You mentioned a couple there. You said being prepared and having resilience. But what else do you think complements courage? What pairs well with courage? If courage is the main course, what's the side
Hmm.
dish?
Yeah, perseverance, resilience. That is the pair with courage and no defects,
Mm.
and an exit plan, and a lot of things need courage.
Yes,
but
yes.
yeah,
Is there anything else, Ferdinand, you'd like to share with our listeners
yes,
with regards to
yes,
building a creative career or perhaps going down an unconventional pathway in life?
yes, yes. It's great to follow your dream, and otherwise, as we mentioned before, the world will be very very boring place if everybody do the same thing. Um, and I'm very happy that you have this podcast. And I just want to dedicate two songs for your particular podcast about courage. The first one I can think of is called "The Impossible Dream." That song by from Men
La Mancha?
La Mancha,
Yes.
and talk about with half ounce of courage, still striving to reach the unreachable star. That is so that's one. And the other one is very old song. It's like Sarah Sarah, whatever will be. Yeah.
Yes.
So enjoy your journey. If it happened, it happened. If otherwise, just um, just enjoy it. It's fun too. The whole journey is fun, and
Mm.
have a besides that, have somewhere to fall back to if it doesn't work.
Mm. Calculated courage. I think that was one of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
greatest insights you shared today. So thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Ferdinand, I would like to take this moment to just acknowledge you, to not only thank you for this time together, but to as also as someone who has displayed courage, and has been a great example or role model for me. I know we met a long time ago, but we worked on a project together, and um, you were someone that was just always so down to earth and humble, which is very rare sometimes in this industry. When you look at typically what actors are like, it can be a very maybe ego driven kind of career, but you never at all showed that. You were always someone that was so pleasant to be around, and I have admired watching your career throughout across the 30 years. I remember at the time we were still in touch, and you said you had just booked Mao's Last Dancer, and that film came out. Oh my goodness, what year was that? Quite some time ago, but
Yes,
wonderful Australian film that you were a part of. And I just felt special, that someone who was cast in this, movie, like a movie star to me, was still, able to take time for me and to become friends and to email me. So I think, yeah, your humility and your generosity, I really appreciate. So thank you. And yeah, it's. I hope to. And now we've reconnected. I can, continue to see you do wonderful things in the entertainment industry. And I'd like to leave you now with, a chance to kind of share how people can sort of learn more about your work. You do have an IMDb page, is that correct? On your For your
Yes,
acting?
yes,
Yes.
yes. People just can go to IMDb, just type Ferdinand Hoang and then see what's happening. Yeah.
Excellent. And is there any specific film or TV that you're most proud of that you'd like to encourage people to watch?
Yes, there are quite a few, but as you mentioned, Mouse Last Dance is one of my favorite. Tonight, tonight, Mother and Son. You can see me in Mother and Son, but
And that's playing on ABC. Is that correct?
ABC,
Yes, yes.
yes,
So
tonight.
I'll make sure to
But of
link it
course,
below.
if you go to this podcast 10 years later, it's not tonight. Yeah.
But
Um,
it will be on your IMDb page, not the.
yeah, another
Don't worry.
movie I really like. It's called Ellipsis.
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 Okay.
Yeah, so
When
it's a
did you
very
film that
small,
one?
maybe 5 years ago, 5 6 years ago.
Mm, mm,
Um, it's a sort of experimental sort of movie with only about three actors and a few others supporting. But
mm.
yeah, it's quite interesting. It's
Well, it's a
yeah,
30-year career, so I'm sure I'm
yeah,
wondering, if you remember
yeah,
everything you've done, but we'll make
yeah.
sure to put
Well,
your link below.
yeah. I suppose the biggest one is the Quiet American.
Right.
Uh, yeah, that one with Russell Crowe and
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser,
Oh,
and that's the
yes,
biggest.
yes.
Yeah, that one's the biggest movie I have ever been in. But my
Amazing.
role is not very big, but it's quite important role. But it's yeah, um, yeah,
No small parts. Everything as you
yeah,
said.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoy a lot of production and can have the chance to go to all these special places and
Mm,
so acting is fun in a way. If like I can go to once I go to Canberra, go to Parliament House. Yeah,
mm,
inside, go through ASIO and all that. Have to screen me, and then I go to all the secret place inside for
yeah,
film. And so
yeah.
normally you are not allowed to go to those places. So yeah, so
Wow.
it's,
Do you document your experiences on in different locations and film sets? You take photos and write journals about
uh,
your travels?
you have record of it, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
specific, but I have record of where I
Yeah.
go and all that. Yeah.
Might have to write a memoir one day of your
If I'm
adventures.
famous, but
Yeah.
I'm not famous.
Well,
Yeah.
you're famous to me, and we appreciate you on this podcast.
Yeah.
Ferdinand Huang, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. All the best.